What was it that made you want to come to TV at this juncture in your career?
Well, I've been trying to do a television show for quite a while, actually. Specifically a show with CBS, because I think CBS knows how to do this kind of comedy better than anyone else. So my relationship with CBS and with the idea of doing television in general actually goes back quite a bit. I love the idea of being able to explore and develop a character over what hopefully could be a pretty long period of time. And I love the sitcom type of comedy, the situational comedy. It's a very specific kind of comedy muscle that needs to be exercised. It's different than acting for film or even single camera television. The multi-camera, and we shoot it like a hybrid, so it's got elements of single camera and multi-camera, but there's a cadence and a rhythm that I really enjoy playing into, and I love the idea of getting that consistency and being able to come to work and films are great. I love coming in and working on a show, but it's more finite. There's a beginning, there's an end, and then you're kind of off into another experience, which is great in its own way. But
And when you first read the script, did you always know which character you wanted to play, or was there any consideration? And maybe
for this script, no. For this script, it was always Ben.
Okay. What was it about Ben?
Well, for Ben, I think there was something about him, this kind of this idealism that he has, particularly when it comes to love and relationships, and I kind of related to that because I think I have a bit of it myself. But there's also this kind of, it's a very likable thing, and it can be, in the wrong hands, I think it can be interpreted as sort of a naivete, like how can this guy think that's the, it's like relationships aren't like that. But when it's Sarah and I getting to play it off of each other, we get to have we have some really fun stuff to do, and I think it works. I think it works credibly, and so it's. It was always Ben. It was always Ben for me. Yeah.
And can you talk a little bit about the order of the casting? Like, were you the first one picked? Did you get to meet everybody else before ultimately you started working together?
Yeah, I was the first one cast. Out of this group, there's been so many different cast incarnations. So it was myself and then Tyler, and then Tyler and I shot one pilot with different girls.
Right.
And then they were recast ultimately with, and thankfully with Judy and Sarah. And the other girls were great, who we had in there before, but for these particular roles and at this particular juncture, it was Judy and Sarah that were the ones. Our comedic sensibilities are all very, very similar, and we just have a lot of fun.
And have you seen yet that maybe they're starting to work in your own personality traits into the character? In what ways do you think they're paying attention?
Well, I think, as written originally, certainly my character, for example, and the Sarah's character can be seen as sort of, your sort of standard, sort of the archetypes of a couple that are just very smitten with each other and in love and kind of, in a nauseating way, kind of, perhaps. And then you've got the other two who are, like, just out to bash love and think it's ridiculous. And those are the two that, on paper, it seems, you could really write the comedy for. And then, I find that Matt and his writers are now, because Sarah and I have such great chemistry, and we both are, so kind of, we each have our own kind of comedic things that we bring to the table and our own sort of weirdness that they can write more dimensionally for us.
Okay.
And so they've been doing that, and it's been great. And then same with Tyler and Judy as well. They have been writing to all of our strengths. It's been fun.
It's not really a will they or won't they. You guys get together immediately in the
Mm-hmm.
pilot. So what are the fun things that you can tease about the conflict for their relationship that you've already shot?
For me and Sarah.
Yeah,
our
specifically.
relationship. Well,
Ben and Kate.
Well, there's the thing I was talking about earlier. I mean, what's great about the beginning of a relationship, especially one that is that intense, when two characters are that smitten and they kind of have those blinders on, is little things become really big things.
Okay.
You know, so one person saying "I love you," for example. The first time someone says "I love you," that's a big thing. And you don't think it's a big thing until it's said, and then you start to, and who is it said by, and under what circumstances, and did they really mean it, and do they not, and should they slow down? Because every other relationship, I didn't say it intentionally, but now I'm just saying it, and so exploring things like that, which are very real, but also very ripe for comedy.
Right.
You know, so those are the kinds of things that we're playing around with.
And what would you say to people out there that are looking at the schedule and seeing all these relationship comedies? What makes your show different, and why you think people are gonna or should tune into your show?
They should tune into our show because I'm only in this show, and so it's more important to me that they tune into our show. I wish all the other shows much success and luck, but not if it means that our show can't have success and luck.
Fair enough. No, that's fair.
No.
And you're not. I mean, you're not really competing
kidding.
time slot wise.
I'm kidding. Yeah, there is. That's. I seriously. It's. Actually, a lot of the other shows do look great. From what I've seen of the shows, I'm not fully knowledgeable on all of them. But I mean, I think what's cool about our show is that it sort of fits into that CBS Monday night lineup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it also is its own thing. It has some similarities to How I Met Your Mother. We have some humor where we'll push some buttons and in that Two and a Half Men type of world. And so we're slotted between them. I think it's a good little bridge between the two, hopefully, and I think that's what CBS was thinking. And but it's young and it's fun and funny, and at the end of the day, you've got four people in the show who I think everyone's really funny and have great chemistry, but also they're grounded in reality, and the situations are grounded in reality, no matter how ridiculous they might be. So, it's hopefully going to be a nice addition to that Monday night CBS comedy lineup.